Hi everybody. Ann wanted me to build some benches. I'll show you here what she's talking about. She wants some benches to go there and over here. And she saw some on Shopee she wanted and asked me if I could make some. So I'll show you what I'm going to be doing here. So we went yesterday and bought some metal. You can see it loaded in the back of the truck here. I got some 2x2 hollow tube as they call it. The 1x1 is for a different project, and I have 2x3. I wanted 2x4, but they didn't have 2x4. All they had was 2x3, so I'll use that. So I'm going to start out with the 2x2, get it out, and cut some pieces because I'm making 2 of them. I'm going to need like to cut 8 different pieces out of those, and then cut the pieces of the 2x3 and go from there. So I'll be back after those are cut. Okay, so now I've got the pieces cut, show you here. So I've got 8 16-inch pieces made and 8 18-inch pieces made, cut at 45s. So what I got to do is make like a rectangle. So this will be like 4 legs for 2 benches, we're going to call them. So I got to get those welded together, and then I'll be back after that to show what's next. So I have 4 of these made now. This is going to be the legs. It's going to be 18 inches tall, 16 inches deep like this. And I got to cut out the parts for the seat now. So for that, I'm using the 2x3, and I got to cut these in half and clean up the end where when we got them they cut them, because when we bought these were one length, about 20 feet long, a little less because they measure in meters and not feet. They say it's 20 feet, but you measure it's actually not. So to try to make sure I get them exactly the same, I took the first one, cut it in half just a little bit less, because when they cut them in half, they didn't get it real good. So that end has to be cleaned up. So to make sure that I try to make them all exactly the same length and get them as square as I can, I've cut some already, and I have one here with a factory end, which I use for my template to get it square, and try to get the same length as possible. So to do that, I use my vice grips, and I got the factory end on the one I'm cutting down here, and I butt this one right up against the same length. Might not be perfect, but it's going to be close enough where if I have to do something with a weld or something, I can fill in with the weld a little bit. So I take the first edge, my factory edge is here, and I make a mark with my grinder. I gotta get this out of the way. And this is a little bit of a mess there, but I gotta clean that up. So what I do, I make my mark with this. The cord is tangling up. I gotta untangle a little bit. There. And I go all the way around it with that mark like this, using the other one as my template. It would be much easier to do this with a chop saw, but I don't have one. It'd be much quicker, but I gotta go this way. This time I'm going to use this so I get the exact same mark. Because that one must have been a little bit short because my marks didn't come out exactly the same. Nope, I need to do it the other way. Because then it's got to be square. So now I have my mark. It's the exact same size as my blade because it was made with the blade. And that way I can follow the line much easier and know exactly how long it's going to be. It's better than the pencil. Like the first one I used a pencil mark around with a square, but with the pencil mark you're not always getting the exact same mark all the way around, I guess to say, and you might not follow the same side of the pencil mark or something like that and end up with a gap and not exactly the same length. So this way you can get closer to the same length. Okay, now that I've done that, I got to clean up this end where they cut it and didn't get a very good cut there. It's not square, so I left myself just a little bit of room to do the same trick here. This time I'm going to use the factory end here. Clamp down with the vice grips, hold that end while I hold this end and make my mark. So that's how I do that. Now I got to take these and figure out how many I'm going to need for the seat, because I don't know if I said this before. I was planning on 2 before. I had it figured out I needed 6 of these to go for the seat, but since it's 2x3, I had to get an extra stick just in case I need to use 7. I'm going to lay everything out and see exactly how many I'm going to need and how it's going to fit. So be back after I do that. So there we go. That's one bench welded together. Okay, so welded together. I just got to clean up the welds with a grinder and paint it, but I'll give you a look at it. That is a Philippine metal bench. I still got to make the other one and get this one painted, clean up the welds, but there it is. So here's the one bench, and over here's the other bench. Now Ann wanted them gray, so I took spray paint, put gray primer on first, and then gray spray paint, because I guess she kind of wanted them to match the color of the house. So now I'll take you to the dirty kitchen and show you what the next project is going to be. So Ann bought this oven for baking pizzas, because she bakes pizzas and sells them, and makes cakes and sells them and stuff like that. She bought it with her own money, but the stand or frame that it's on, to me, is really weak. I don't like it, so I want to build her something more sturdy, and maybe something with a shelf so she could have a place to put, if she has to pull the pan out and set it down or something like that, or needs a place to put something while she's baking, she'll have a little shelf she can use. We were talking about it yesterday, and I want to make it taller, and I want enough room for the propane tank, because the propane tanks we use here are like those under there, so I want enough room underneath for one of those to go underneath. And we were talking, and she would like a shelf down here that kind of pulls out. So I got it made up in my head how I'm going to do it. I wrote a little bit on paper and took some measurements so I know what size I got to do it. And I'm just going to kind of play it by ear, building it, and how I'm going to make the little slide out shelf that she wants. So hopefully next video I'll have some progress on that. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.